Okay, so the first one I'm going to do is number 7. And if you don't want to listen, that's fine, but be quiet, because I'm not talking over you. 20 minutes. Okay, so I have x squared plus 4x minus 5 on top, and then I have x squared plus 8x plus 15 on bottom. So how do I start this? I have to simplify. So if I factor on top, what do I get?
X plus 5x minus 1.
And then what do I get on bottom?
X plus 5, x plus 6.
Okay, so once I've factored, before I do anything, I always start with domain. That's the first thing I'm going to start with. So this is going to be all real numbers except x cannot equal what?
Negative 5, negative 3.
After I do the -5, -3, then I cancel. Can I cancel?
Yes.
So this is canceling, and I get x minus 1 over x plus 3. Since I canceled, I know I'm going to have a hole. So I put x plus 5 equals 0 right next to the hole. And I know that makes my x -5. So that takes care of the -5. If that takes care of the -5, that makes -3 my vertical asymptote. So let's go ahead and dot in -3. So now that I have the vertical asymptote, I'm going to take this -5 and I'm going to put it in the canceled function. So -5 minus 1 gives me -6. -5 plus 3 gives me -2. So -6 divided by -2 gives me 3. So -5 is past the -3, right? And it goes up. It's positive. So it's -5 and 3. So I'm going to go ahead and put the hole right here. Let me move it up just a little bit. Okay. So next, what's the horizontal asymptote? How do I find horizontal? What do I look at? The exponents? The exponents? And what do I know about the exponents here? They're tied. So 2 and 2. So what are the coefficients in front of them? 1 and 1. And so that's going to give me a horizontal asymptote of y equals 1. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to dot that in. And this is my 1. If I have a horizontal asymptote, do I have a slant? No. So I have a none. My x-intercept comes from the top. So x minus 1 equals 0. What does my x equal? 1, 0. So I'm going to put 1, 0 right here. My y-intercept, how do I get the y-intercept? So if I do that, I have this is 0 and this is 0, so I get -1/3. And that goes on the y-axis. And so now on my range is going to be all real numbers except y can't equal what? -1/3. And then where'd you get that -1/3? Is that right? Why? It's on there. That's okay. What can it not equal though? It can't equal 1 from the horizontal asymptote. And Nunu, what's the other one it can't equal? Not -1/3. That is okay. 3. Why 3? It's the whole, and that we can't have that. Okay. Why did you keep saying?
I thought that you would need to wait.
I can't say no. The y-intercept's okay. Okay. So y'all, when I look at this, tell me why I'm happy about this.
So we're done.
Because I'm on both sides, right? So we don't have to test another one. So we're going to go here to here, and then here, and here. Okay? Y'all, any questions before we move on? So I know you don't like the graphing, right? We just don't like the graphing. It doesn't get any easier than this, and I mean that. It really doesn't. But if you can't get the graph, at least get the asymptotes, the x and y intercept, and any holes. Like at least get some points, right? Don't leave it blank because then I can't give you anything. All right. Can we go on to the back? If I have time, I'm going to go back to number 9, but I want to look at number 10 first. Okay. So first of all, on number 10, y'all, this is the one where we talked about the shifts. And so what do we remember about our X's? They always lie. They're big fat liars. Okay, so if you look at this, if you look at it, what is not labeled on here are the asymptotes, right? They're not labeled. So you have to dot in your own asymptote. So where would my asymptotes be, guys? At -1, right? See how this is going up but not touching the 1 and going down? So, well, that's not helpful. Okay, so we have the -1, and so then these also head to 0. Do you see that? So the other one is at 0. And y'all, when you look at this, you see where they cross? That point is supposed to be at 0, 0. Is it at 0, 0?
No.
No. Which way did it move? It moved to the left 1, so my H is -1. My K is the up and down. Did this one move up and down? So I'm going to put a 0. Okay. The next thing you're going to do is this. We're going to go over 1, and then it's supposed to be at 1, but it's not. So we're going to count from here up. 1, 2, 3. So that means my A is 3. Also, before I go on, I'd also like to remind you, these are in the right place, right? We want to go up on the right and down on the left. If I got one and this was down here and this was up here, then the A would be negative because it would be a reflection. Okay? Is everybody, that's okie dokie with everybody? Yes. So, what is my vertical asymptote? So, is that X equals or Y equals? X equals -1, and what's my horizontal?
Y equals 0.
Very good. Now, this is our transformation equation, right?
Yes.
And so I'm going to write 3 times 1 over x plus 1, because it's a liar. And then we could put plus 0 if we wanted to, but we don't have to, right? But if it got shifted up or down, this is where that would go, right? The back and forth goes with the x, and then the up and down goes outside of the x. Okay? All right. How much time do I have left, y'all?
10 minutes.
Okay. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to start number 9. I'm going to take attendance. And if you're still not sure how to do the slant asymptote, I'm going to work through that with you. But start and see how far you can get. Okay? Let me take attendance. Okay, y'all, on top, bless you. X minus 2, x plus 1, and then x plus 3. So did anything cancel?
No.
So do I have a hole?
No.
So my domain is going to be all real numbers except x can't equal what?
-3.
Because that comes from the bottom.
Oh.
So then, since I don't have a hole, the -3 has to be my vertical asymptote, and I'm going to go ahead and put that in. So I marked that with -3. Next, I'm top heavy. So do I have a horizontal asymptote?
No.
You can have horizontal and slant. It's one or the other. Top heavy means none, but I'm bigger by 1. So that means I'm going to do the synthetic division to get the slant asymptote. So I'm going to write this down. I'm going to write down 1, -1, and -2. And then what root am I testing? -3. So I'm going to bring down the 1. I'm going to multiply, which gives me -3. I'm going to add, which gives me -4. I'm going to multiply, which gives me 12, and that gives me 10 here. And do we care about the 10?
No.
We don't? So when I write the slant asymptote, what do I write? X minus 4. So I know from looking at this, y'all, that the y-intercept is -4. So it's going to start at -4. And the other thing I know is that the x-intercept is +4. If I make this equal to 0, if y is 0 and I add the 4, then x is 4. So then I'm going to dot this. This is my slant asymptote right here. Get your handy dandy ID. Good for it. So where does the x-intercept come from? It comes from the top. So I get x minus 2 equal to 0 and x plus 1 equal to 0. So I get an x-intercept of 2, 0, and -1, 0. So I'm going to do 2, 0 is here, and -1, 0 is here. My y-intercept, how do I get the y-intercept? All the x's are 0, and that gives me -2/3. So the y-intercept, Nunu, gets to be included, is right here. So here's what I know, okay? I know you don't like graphing, right? So right here, we're going to connect the dots. And what happens after you connect the dots? What happens over here? It goes towards the slant asymptote, right? And what's going to happen on this side? Slant asymptote. So we're going to go this way. But what's the bad thing about this one? I need to test 1 point. So if this is -3, I already have one on this side, so I need my branch on this other side. So what can I test? So if I do f of -4 to give me on this side, then I'm going to have -4 minus 2 gives me -6. -4 plus 1 gives me -3. And then -4 plus 3 gives me -1. So I have 18 on top and -1 on bottom, so I get -18. And does that make sense? So -4, that puts me on this side of the asymptote, right? And then -18 is going to put me down here. And so that makes sense. It's not here, but it's going to go in this little area down here, right? So this is where my other branch is. Here's my -4, -18, and there's my branch. So the last thing, my range. We get to include the -2/3. Maybe what else can I not include? Are there any holes? Is there anything else we can't include? So it's all real numbers. You can't just punt stuff out just for fun. It is all real numbers.
So it's needed.
Yep.
What